Israel is arming Hamas rivals in order to undermine Hamas. Is that a good idea or not such a good idea? Take a look at this clip over here with Jonathan Concricus, the former IDF spokesperson, for his views on this matter. So we'll watch this clip and then talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
Former IDF spokesman Jonathan Concricus joins me now as a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, co-founder as well of Bottom Line Media. Jonathan, good to have you.
Good to be here. Shalom.
Given the history here, right? I mean, even Israel's previous history of funding Hamas, why wouldn't this backfire?
I think that there are fair chances that it will. And I think that a lot of current and former security personnel, and of course many politicians who oppose Netanyahu, are very vocal that the chances of this backfiring are significant. We've been there before, we as in Israel, trying to arm the enemies of our enemies in order for them to do battle. Usually that hasn't worked out too well, but we'll have to see. Time will tell if this was a smart move or if it was questionable use of funds and strange choice of allies during war.
Yeah, because if Israel's goal here, right, as stated repeatedly, is to eliminate Hamas, but also calm Gaza, right? Eventually end the fighting. How is this controllable is the question, right? How do you control this down the line?
Yeah, it's worth mentioning and keeping into perspective that we are talking about very small amounts, and we are talking about limited caliber and capacity of weapons, small arms weapons, assault rifles. As far as I know, I haven't seen reports of heavy weapons, missiles, RPGs, or explosives. That would put it in a different league.
Yeah.
And I think the Israeli reasoning, or those in Israel that are making those decisions, is that this is something that can be managed on a local level. It is just about the goals that you mentioned. I wouldn't say that Israel's goal yet is to calm the situation in Gaza. Israel's goal is to defeat Hamas, get the hostages back, and return security and safety for Israelis. Calming Gaza and stabilizing events, that will come much later down the road once main kinetic operations, main combat operations have been completed.
I want to ask you as well, given the ongoing challenges feeding the people of Gaza, in particular with this new Israeli and U.S.-backed effort here, I just wonder, from a big picture perspective, do you consider Israel's current efforts to allow aid into Gaza, to feed the people of Gaza, do you consider them sufficient?
Well, it's a good question. But if we look at numbers, they've been the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, they've distributed more than 8 million meals in about a week. That definitely puts a dent, or should put a dent, in any claims or fears of famine in Gaza. And I think that overall, albeit except for a rough starting, I think it looks like it's working. Not perfect, and it's rough. And the big picture, as you said, it's really, really important here. And I think that what we're looking at is the possible beginning of the end of Hamas, because controlling the supply of food, which is what Hamas has been able to do through UN organizations like UNRWA up until now, is something that is very important for Hamas, and I would even say crucial for their ability to continue to govern Gaza and to oppress the population and hold them under their sway. Now that Israel is finally challenging that and presenting an alternative to Palestinians, big picture-wise, Hamas is threatened, and I think they have a very clear interest in trying to derail this effort. And I think that they will stop at nothing in order to undermine it, no matter how many Palestinians will be killed and what the consequences are. I think Hamas are threatened by it, and they will want to stop it because it's a danger for their rule.
Jonathan Concricus joining us from Tel Aviv. Thanks so much.
Yeah, so as far as arming other Palestinians in Gaza, we will see how that actually goes. It's a very interesting idea. It's pretty new in the operation itself, but God willing, it'll have a good effect in surrounding Hamas and enabling a full Israeli victory of completely dethroning Hamas and getting back the hostages. That is the ultimate priority. And secondly, as far as a Palestinian state, you cannot have a Palestinian state if you don't have a peace partner to work with. Even the more moderate Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank, the so-called West Bank anyway, it says that it's still paying out pay for slay, meaning that if somebody commits a terrorist act in Israel from that territory, that their family is still given reparations and money for the rest of their life. And so that's not exactly a peace partner that you can live with and deal with and work out any sort of peaceful arrangements with. Not to mention the fact that when, like Jonathan Concricus mentioned, that when they were going to have elections back in 2021, they saw that Hamas was polling much higher than the current more liberal administration. It's not more liberal, but it's comparatively, it's bad. And so they saw that Hamas was much more in favor, and so they just canceled the elections. The people there aren't necessarily right now either in a proper mode of living peacefully amongst the Israelis. This is a lot more complicated than just like, okay, let's make a Palestinian state and everyone could just live together. This is much more than land agreements. This is an ideological battle for whether Israel has the right to even exist or not. And I guess we will see how arming these Palestinians in Gaza is going to affect the entirety of the situation, and how American foreign policy of being firm and saying that we're not unilaterally in favor of a Palestinian state, how that will have repercussions in the Arab world, and what sort of pressure and dynamic shaping will go on going forward. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.